right, good evening. How is everyone doing? I'd like to welcome you back as we continue our message on the state of your state. The state of your state. We're going to be in John chapter 13 as we continue this message for today. And we're still talking about knowing where we fit in the kingdom of God. And a lot of times, ooh boy, I think I'm going to get me one of them jet skis. They must be down there. Oh, my fault. We need to know how well we fit in when it comes to the things of God. And a lot of times, what is happening to many of us, we try to place ourselves in a position of authority, in a position of honor, in a position of power, and yet we don't even know what it meant to uh, sit or attain those positions. Because we oftentimes we look at how people operate in God. We look at their business, or we look at their life and their marriages, and we'll think that we can obtain the same thing. And yet we can, but that's farthest from the truth. Because we can't just go by what something seems like, and we never get the revelation of the knowledge of the truth. So here in John chapter 13, let's talk about the state of the state. You know, as we go through this revelation, I really want you to think of yourself in the position you're in and ask yourself, how did you get that position? John 13 is dealt with Jesus watching the disciples feed. And a lot of y'all done heard this before, but when Brother Hubbard teaches, God allows me to always bring out that little critical part that we often miss. And that's why a lot of you that got ministries, going toward ministry, under other leadership, what I'm trying to tell you, you need to change your location because they don't know what's going on. You got to know that God is moving. He's moving swiftly, quickly, but silently. That's why everybody don't hear what we hear. Everybody ain't saying what we're saying. I don't care nothing about you getting married. I don't care nothing about your money. I care about your soul. And if you don't want the state of your soul to be in a position to get saved, go do what you want to do. John 13:1 says, now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. See, I was talking to my son, and I said, me and your mom getting old, Dimitri, you got to learn how to take care of yourself. Life ain't all about Jordans and Nikes and smoking. I said, you got to find out how to live, man. I said, where will you go if something happened to me and your mom? Your auntie ain't gonna let you down now. Your family members ain't gonna let you over there. You gonna live on the street in your car. Now, if you got to, if that's where, but I'm trying to get him to think. And that's what's wrong with a lot of us as believers. We don't know when our hour comes. And what I mean by hour, God trying to use you, you keep running the church. God trying to tell you that you need to be taught some meat, you keep running to the applesauce. We have to we got to we got to stop allowing the spirit of familiarity to control our allegiance to what is God. See, you can't go over here and listen to Brother Hubbard and say that makes sense. I need to do that. But you go over there and you holler preach pastor, but he ain't speaking, he or she ain't speaking then. That's trying to get you to the next level in God. You got to know when that spirit of manipulation is in your church. You got to know when your time is up. See, Jesus knew he had something to do. He said he should depart this world to the Father, having loved them, having loved his own. See, a lot of y'all got this love thing twisted. Anything you love, you protect. Anything you love, you don't let nobody get in the way of it. I shared a video on social media this morning where this woman is talking about love. And she said, you got to know how to protect your man by protecting his peace. You ever been in a relationship and you told a woman you ain't got no peace and they didn't do nothing to protect it? Y'all got to realize it ain't about no coochie. It ain't even about money. When a man come home, all he want is peace. If he want to walk around in his boxer and play PlayStation 5, that's his peace. Let him have his peace. He don't need to hear you why you ain't take the garbage out. That's all you do. You ain't paying no attention to me. You don't know what he's going through that he's not yet to reveal yet. So he got to get in his place of peace. And then he may talk. And if he got a relationship with God, he trying to figure out with God before he say something to you. But if you had a relationship with God, you'll know what's going on with him, and he wouldn't have had to say that to you. That's why I know some of y'all don't know what love is, because they know God in you. That's why y'all got to depend on the five languages of love, because you can't God can't speak to your heart to show you what real love is. That's why they got to tell you every day, cause that done insecure spirit in you, it needed, it got to hear it. Let's keep on going. They get mad. And supper being ended, verse 2, the devil having already put it into the heart of Judas is correct, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands and that he had come from God and was going to God. Where you going? Where you going? You claim you going to God. I'm sitting here preaching all these good messages, and I'm telling you, I don't even know if I'm going to heaven or not. What makes you so sure that you got a seat? You know what that nasty attitude nobody don't see? You know what that lying spirit? Oh, we ain't gonna talk about the bedroom. We'll leave that out. You know that gossiping that you do. So it says, supper being ended. Ain't it funny that when people then used you all they can use to you, and you wake up, the devil get in them? Boy, I used to be a mighty man of God. I was the best husband. But the minute I didn't submit to what they wanted, the devil got him. Ain't it something? Y'all, hold on 1 minute. Yeah, yo, Yeah, let me holler back at you. I gotta finish this video, okay? All right. Why is it at the end of a thing, people talk the worst about you? They say the worst about you. They believe the worst about you. But when you rubbing that bud and getting that good pipe, getting that money, you let them do what they want, boy, you the best thing in the world. Hmm, ain't that funny? And these be church folks, y'all. We talking about church folks. We ain't talking about the world. Judgment started at the church first. The reason the world can't change because we never change. See, people often betray you when you don't feed into their insecurities. But you got to know that everything you've been going through, God already knew. Yeah, my swimming pool. Why y'all got to clap back? God being offset, they was in love. Now she done took them off. Uh, the insurance, or if she died, he ain't getting that. Uh-oh. He claiming he's sleeping with her sister, and she claiming, listen him. I'm trying to figure out well, how you gay women, and I'm hitting how y'all make love and make all them sound with that plastic. That can somebody inbox me and tell me. I've been thinking about that today. Because I'm trying to put this message together. I'll be doing all that with a piece of plastic. Do a ski hot water out or something. Maybe I got to go buy one and so I can see it, see how it operates or something. I don't know. What I'm saying, everything you're going through, God already know. The problem is you don't want to admit it. And if you can't admit it, if you can't admit that you're wrong, God can't deliver you from your wrong. See, just like Jesus, when you know who you are in God, you don't worry about the naysayers. You don't worry about the little slips and fall here and there because you're trying to get back to where you came from. Verse 4 rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water in a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. All right, let's get down into it now. When you understand the state of who you are, your position in God means everything. But you got to remain in a position to be humble in order for God to use you. And a lot of people, they got the big head and they're not in a position of being humble. So God got to humble them. So when we see it says Jesus rose from the supper, what you got to understand about this scripture is that in Jesus' time, you washed your feet before you sat down and ate. That's the mystery of this scripture. That's the deep meaning most of you don't see. When you come, see, this wasn't no ordinary dinner. This ain't like that done picture grandma got up on her wall. They was sitting at the floor. And when they were sitting at the floor, you got to understand how they position their feet. And they got these sandals on so you can see the dirt from the things they had to walk through. All right. Now watch this. So what Jesus did, he got up when they finished eating to wash their feet. Now watch this. In order to really know who God is in your life, you're gonna have to go through some dirty stuff. You're gonna have to be molested. You're gonna have to be a whore. You're gonna have to be a crack addict. You're gonna have to be a liar. You're gonna have to be a fornicator, an adulterer, a thief. A, you got to be all of that. Why? Because what you go through is what empowers you. So by him not washing their feet, and like I said, this was no ordinary dinner. This like grandma pulling out the good china dinner. You know, back in our days, everybody had that little china cabinet with all that china, and you didn't touch that china. This that kind of. So watch this. The second thing you got to understand about it is washing a person's feet. That was the lowest form of servitude a servant can have, which means they had a servant to wash people's feet as they came through the door. So here, watch this. Y'all done served me by walking through what you walked through. Now it's time me to wash that off of you. See, that's why you can't be around him with these church folks. I don't look like what I've been through. You should, because how can God clean it if you don't look like it? And that's the problem with us. He did the lowest job he can do at a critical time in his life. This man get ready to die. But he said, let me wash your feet. See, when y'all start doing that in church, let me wash your feet. See, y'all ain't saying, y'all ain't, y'all just doing it for show and tell. You don't understand the significance of this. That's why it ain't no power when y'all do it in the church. We gonna have a foot washing service. Now watch this. This where y'all miss it at when you're looking at your leaders watching your feet. He came from a place of servitude to serve and still got his place in servitude. See, when you wash your feet, you just can't sit back up there like you the lead pastor. You can't sit up there at the head table. See, when he left the place of a servant to become a lower servant, he still had the position of a servant, which means what? He was equal to everybody. That's what this means. See, as I was walking through my mishaps, y'all was walking through y'all. But let me, watch this, wash your feet so I can bless y'all because I got to walk this hill by myself. He said he laid aside his garment because he knew he was going to be stripped of. So let me allow you to see what a servant has to go through in order to serve. See, if Christ wanted to really pop his collar, he would have let one of the other disciples prepare the water. He did it all himself. Now, I got me old pedicure today too. Y'all ain't really doing no foot washing because you don't smell what Jesus smell. Your feet don't look like they feet. You got all these pedicures and different color nails on it, our feet been washing hibiscus and whatever them people be using. I even got me a darn manicure today. Look at them nails. Ain't they perfect? Ain't they perfect? I was getting my feet done. I said, hey, hit these nails for me. Because I hadn't did them about 6, 7 months. See, I ain't like everybody. I finna say she love a scratch. But they perfect. Just like my feet. Now, he wiped them with a towel which he was girded. See, they enter in the room arguing over who's the greatest. See, when people say they better than me and know more than me, I don't argue with them because when you're the greatest, it dictates not a response nor a reply. Other people, well, other people blow my whistle sometime until I don't do what they do what they want to do. Then they tear me down just like the Sphinx. So watch this. In this meal, watch this now. I wish I had an accurate count of how they said, then we can really understand something. But they had a table. It's about coffee table high. It was U-shaped. It ain't that long table y'all see. It was U-shaped. And and often the way you sit shows how close you was to the leader. But see, we don't have no accurate depiction of that, so I can't do that. And what they did, they didn't sit on no chairs. They leaned on pillows with their feet behind them. So they sat like. So watch this. As they were eating, it was easy to. Y'all ever had somebody pooty around you? You smell it. So it was easy to see the dirt and often smell their feet. But watch this. Why is it none of the disciples was interested in washing one another's feet till they seen Christ do it? See, this is what I'm telling y'all. In this season, actions speak louder than words, but your heart is what's going to speak volume because that's going to lead to your action. See, while they was arguing over who was the best, huh? Jesus said, let me wash their feet to teach them a lesson. I ain't got time to argue with people who think they better than me. I ain't got time to argue with you if I say something to you and you say I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. I ain't got time to argue with you. See what Christ got him at. A lot of you ain't interested in certain positions until you see somebody who you think ain't nobody doing, and then you think you can do it. He got them in a spirit of inferiority. See, they were out there arguing who the best, but they didn't look what was needed. See, they knew the traditions, but they didn't follow them. Y'all know who you need to listen to, but you won't. You know who need to mentor to you, but you don't. You know why? Because you think you're better than them. So he began to wash the disciples' feet. So we got to understand his action. He rose from suffer, which means he rose from a place of rest and comfort. He took off his garments, which means he took off his heavenly presence. He then takes the towel and he girds it among himself. He said, I'm ready to work because I'm still taking on the form of a servant. Y'all get 40 members and you ain't a servant no more. Now you chief apostle. See, he poured the water ready to clean because he's poured out his blood to cleanse us. And what he was showing him, after I serve you in this filthiness, I'm gonna sit down and enjoy looking at you in your cleanness. See, a lot of y'all, you know why a lot of y'all don't enjoy life? Because you know you're too nasty. You know you're too nasty. I mean, listen here. I'm not I'm not deaf when I hear the spirit. Look at old brother Hubbard. He just ride around, do anything, go anywhere. He ain't got a care in the world. And I don't. Because nothing on this world means anything to me. Not my own life. The problem is, y'all care about stuff. That lets me know your relationship to God. That just like Big Mama house. When you came in Big Mama house and that plastic was on that furniture, you know better than sit on that couch. You get that stitching card. That's how y'all is with your life. Your life covered up where you think people don't see what you're doing, but we looking at you, knowing what you're doing. Verse 6, he said, Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Peter said to him, You shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Mm. See, all the other disciples missing the point by letting Jesus wash their feet. Here, Peter says, You too much for me to wash my feet. He felt uncomfortable with Christ washing his feet. That's how some of y'all is when you feel uncomfortable, let people like us teach y'all. Why you uncomfortable? See, the only reason, see, ignorance ain't no excuse. But a lot of you ignorant of who in front of you because you may think, watch this. You ever dated a woman or a man and y'all be talking to some and they ask, I don't see how I got you. You too good for me. You too this. Now, number one, for some of the men, that's how we draw them in. We give them little words like that, make them think they bout something. But in the back of our head, we just gonna hit it. So we just got to talk it up. And as we talking it up, we got to find which register that go to ringing, and that's the conversation we stay with. But see, he was saying, Jesus, you offended me by washing my feet. It's the same people that say I offend them, the same people you listen to me. Ain't that a fool? Jesus said, if I don't wash your feet, you ain't got no power with me. See, that was a lesson in humility. That's why I don't look down on what nobody go through. I don't look down on what you do. Now I might talk a good game, but don't be afraid to say nothing to me because I ain't gonna look down. I probably did it and ain't mentioned it. To be honest with you, I probably did it and won't talk about it, not outright, because he don't want me to talk about it. But you'll be amazed at what I had to say to some people one on one. Oh, you'll be amazed. I was out there now. See, now for us southern folks, this ain't the foot wash we had down in Bowler G, Alabama. Y'all know about the foot wash down there. We go down there, anything go. Drug, sex, money, gambling. Ooh, boy, that foot wash wasn't that nice. You go down there for the weekend, that was worse than listen here, that was worse than the Freaknik. When you pull up there, somebody got somebody bent over and turned all the way, and you just riding looking. Boy, we was some heathen with I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I enjoy myself. That's why I enjoy the gospel like I do. How can you enjoy the things of the world and you come to preaching this gospel and it bore you? Simon Peter said, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, He who he who is bathed need only to wash his feet, but is completely clean, and you are clean, but not all of you. For he knew who would betray him, therefore he said, You are not all clean. See, when you look at Peter and his response to Jesus, Peter never wanted Jesus to do what he wanted to do. See, Peter can only get his feet washed because just like Christ said, you ain't completely clean. Your heart ain't in it. You just doing this for show. See, now that I let you wash my feet, I tell you wash everything of me. See, that's that false humility. You didn't want me to touch your feet. Now you want to come all over me. See, this foot washing is an illustration of spiritual cleansing. See, when the priests, when they consecrated, they was washed from head to toe and baptized into the service of the sanctuary. See, Peter, his time wasn't finished. His time wasn't finished. See, this was an initial washing that would later on represent an ongoing washing. See, that's why when you first get saved, You don't just try to stop doing everything. You got to go through what is called transitional sanctification. See, you might stop drinking, but you're still whoring. You might stop whoring, but you're still smoking. You might stop smoking, but you're still drinking. You might stop lying, but you're still sexing. Just let God wash you in the areas that He want to wash you in. That's one thing me and God used to have it out when I first got saved. Man, I used to be pissed off when people come in there. I stopped smoking overnight. I stopped having sex on boy. Like boy, I'd be mad as boy. Ooh, I was hot. But I had to come to realize He saying who He want to say according to how He want to say him. So you know what Brother Hubbard did? That's okay. You ain't gonna stop me from having sex. Well, we're gonna go on out here till you stop me. Because I know you can. I can't do it. That's why it be so hard for a lot of y'all to follow God. You think the minute that you come to God, you got to stop everything. That's the biggest lie church ever told you. Biggest lie. If you want to drink your bud, drink your bud. If you want to smoke your bud, smoke your bud. But just know you're trying to get to Christ, and when He wants you to stop, I guarantee you're gonna stop. See, when you try to stop yourself, that's faith with works, but dead works. Because you waking up. Okay, God, that man, he be having me more. If he called this time, I just ain't gonna answer the phone because I ain't studying. When you avoid something, you ain't delivered from it. You just avoid it. So when you get that hey big head text, see that why what the hell old Pastor Mike tell y'all to delete them and block them. See that ain't what a real preacher do. See, when you avoid something, you ain't delivered from it. You deliver from it when you can. You get what I'm saying? When you can deal with it and it don't do nothing to you. Yeah, you can tell them I said it. I ain't scared of nobody around here. What they gonna do to me? I'm just trying to tell y'all the truth. These leaders around here telling y'all to avoid them, block this, block this. That because they ain't got no power, so they can't teach you how to use your power. So they do what's simple. Ooh, let me block him. You a weak, powerless peasant, is what you is. So when he had washed their feet, taken his garment, and sat down again, he said to them, do you know what I have done to you? You called me teacher and Lord, and you said, well, for so am I. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. See, Jesus was slick too. You say you want to be like me. You say I'm your teacher. What should have happened, Peter, that when Jesus got through, Peter should have been around there going back around for it, and then the next disciple, and then the next disciple, then the next disciple. See, a lot of y'all, you only want Christ for the attention. You ain't in it for the consistency. See, what he was trying to teach them was consistent commitment. Y'all only come to God when your man and left you or don't want you, your woman cheating on you or don't want you. You ain't got no money to pay your light bill. Now y'all wanna, oh God, please help. But before then, y'all doing everything you want to do. Do everything you want to do. So what he was doing was giving them a sample of how to be humble. You know what? A lot of y'all finna go through what you're going through because you got false humility. False humility. And when you understand it takes real humility to access the power of God, then you'll have all the power you want. But until then, you just run around like a chicken with his head cut off.